That's a Walters rotary dump. It's the early version. Because if you see the stripes on it are red, the original was red. The second one that they made, the upgrade, was all green. And they basically are the same. And all I can tell you about them is you have to be very, very meticulous about putting it together and not having it bind up anywhere. Oh, very difficult. I have one or two of them built that are kits, and I make a mechanism for making it motorized. So you can throw a switch on that one there and it'll rotate, dump into a canister underneath. And then I really didn't research enough when I built this, because it should have been above the coal loader, not below it. That way it would have dumped right back into the coal loading facility.
Mhm.
No, which I didn't do. So
What's this?
that's part of the coal mine. I actually cut the building in half and used the other half somewhere else. And it's way above the coal loader, and there's a conveyor on the left that is not in place right now, but it goes down to the coal loader for the car or railroad cars. That's the coal loader, and where you see that brown building is the hopper that holds about 10 carloads of coal that I could load with that engine that's underneath there. And I use a steel wood auger drill bit to convey it from the brown building to the car where it dumps into. And it's got a little motor. I got some pictures of one of those, and it shows you all that mechanism. Of course, it's not on the layout, it's just in picture form right now. Well, you can see the conveyor laying there. This is the north yard. There's 11 sidings and one runaround. And icing platform is track 1. Then the next 2 are all steel mill related torpedo cars, slag cars, ingot mold cars, and they're all track power lighted with flickering orange LEDs. Then the next,
Whoops.
well, that's
All right, wait, let me go back. You were still talking.
oh, the other ones are just staging tracks for bringing the coal from the coal loader down to the rotary dump.
What about this load here? That's pretty neat.
Yeah,
Airplane.
that airplane is waiting to. It's a track that's going out of this town into another world somewhere.
Okay.
As more or less is waiting for a train to pick them up.
Mhm.
That high line is held by a brake unit that I build that holds that on an incline. And if you want to go hook onto it with an engine, you would hook onto the cars and then lower the pin by that yellow sign. There's a pin that comes up through the middle of the track
Oh, yeah.
and hold the cars on the incline.
Is this the yellow sign?
Oh, down here.
Right there.
Oh, to the right of that by the APL car.
There's
Oh.
actually 2.
Yeah.
There's one there
Okay.
and there's one farther down in the mid.
Oh, yeah, here's the other one down here. Now we'll get into the layout.
This is the crossover, and this is a Y and a turnaround or a runaround track for turning a train completely around. And you can't see her, but there's a little, in that switch tower, there's a little bitty light that I lit up that's about the size of a flea. I do a lot of lighting.
This is the
This is
parade.
part of, this is the beginning of a parade that's gonna go down this street and into the next town. And there'll be another picture of the parade where you'll see marching bands, old cars, clowns riding bicycles. And,
Oh, yeah, there's the.
there's
unicycle.
the, one of the bands, and then the next band is around the corner.
There it is.
And there's the second band. I bought 7 of these marching bands from a guy in South Bend that was getting out of the business. And they don't even make them anymore. Prizer makes them. But if you can find one, you're gonna pay in excess of $200 for
Oh, wow.
60-some people.
You've still got some in the packages, don't you?
Yeah, I've got 5 of them in packages. That's my pool hall. And they had, before a friend of mine built it for me, I lit the pool tables up with stained glass lampshades. But he glued the roof on and I can't get in it to change them now. So they're out. So I built another pool hall. It's down about a block.
Uh-huh.
And there's a bunch of horses that were supposed to be in the parade.
They got there too late.
They got there too late, yeah. And this is a staging track for the barge unit that is not in place. There's a piece of white paper that emulates the barge. And it's just a place that you take cars and drop them off and they unload them from the flat car onto the barge, and then the barge leaves, but it doesn't really.
Yeah.
So
And
you got an auto
the-
dealership there.
Yeah, the BMW dealership.
The
or
BMW
Mercedes,
dealer.
yeah.
is that car you see in the corner is a BMW or a Mercedes, one of the two. And it's on a carousel, and there's a showgirl in shorts riding the car carousel around and around.
Getting dizzy. Getting dizzy.
Yeah, getting busy.
All right.
We're still on the parade.
Yep, the race cars.
All those Basquiat bridges go up and down. They don't have any safety on them, so you could run into the river if it's up and
Yeah.
you don't stop.
Well, I never noticed this locomotive before. That's pretty
Well,
cool.
I put a decoder in that, but I never could get it running very good. It's one of them old
Yeah,
1890s, 1900s. I
yeah.
have 7 of those passenger trains from the 1890s
Wow.
that every car is full of people and lit up.
Hmm.
I don't know why, because they're never going to be on my railroad. They're in a drawer. This is it used to be my workstation. It was one of the second island on my layout that had all my tools on it. And I finally took them all off and put all these buildings on and lit up you're seeing the back of them. In front of them is where the parade is going.
Mhm.
Oh. That's in front of this is the back of the train station. The parade is in front of this building.
Mhm.
You
Is
know,
this the train station that you can turn around so they have passengers and then they're gone?
Not on this one, but I did make one like that when the train pulls in, it's full of the platform is full of people. And then when the train leaves, you flip over the platform and all the people are gone except for the conductor. And he's picking up the little step stool and carrying it back to the station house.
Mhm.
A lot of fun. My wife's son bought me this and I detailed the inside of it beyond belief. I mean, there's everything imaginable inside this bus station. Call girls and restaurants with their plates on a table and pop bottles. I'm a great one for detail. I love detail. I have so much detail that I could lay out another whole layout with everything detailed the way it is with this one.
Do you travel? I got a bunch of detail that I need to have put out. I was wondering if you travel.
Oh, no. Not well, I not very far anyway.
Yeah.
Not in my house, though. I live
Thought I'd try.
Expressway.
There you go.
Hey, Tom, where's that? What make Greyhound station is that?
What kind of Greyhound station is that?
Oh, that's a Walters.
Oh, okay.
It's an Art Deco kit that they did a few
The
years
blue
ago.
bus has a directional, you see the cop down there, he's directing him to make a right-hand turn, but they're waiting for the parade to pass. And then the trailway, the red one is, he's just coming in.
Looks like somebody's getting their car repossessed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or delivered.
Uh,
Yeah.
getting it- That in the background, you can see the parade there. There's race cars and
Yeah.
a lot of Thunderbirds and old cars. I like old cars. That's a Walters building. And that gold medal flower the door rolls up and down with a toggle switch.
Mhm.
The bridge in the background is a single lane bridge, but I added another lane to it, but you can't tell it's added on because it's way up in the air.
Mhm.
And it's leading to the coal mine and the over there in the corner where the coal loader is.
Yeah, you're talking about the one with the truck on it.
Yeah. That's the bridge you're talking about right
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
This is Donnie's Drive-In, and they're having a car show. And I think there's everything, a cash register on the counter. There's jukeboxes at every table inside, little chrome jukeboxes, pop bottles, plates, waitresses, some that people have just left and they haven't cleaned up yet.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a cook at behind the kitchen, that little white building. And there's 33 LED lights on the outside of that underneath the eave that are shining down. I have a jukebox that it was going to be put right by the ice machine by the front door. And it's has colored LEDs that emulate the color of a real Wurlitzer jukebox.
Nice.
I had a friend make me a whole bunch of those jukeboxes with a 3D printer.
Mhm.
I made a unit that I was going to put in the yard of this that we were just talking about. It's a Arduino unit that has 63 fireflies. They're 9,000 fiber optics come out of 7 blinking LEDs. And they come out of the grass and there's a girl that's gonna hold a bottle, a clear bottle, and there's gonna be a couple of fireflies in the bottle. But I never finished. Greg and I were just talking about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I'll ever get in there. I never put a backdrop on those buildings in the background there. Those are company houses that I cut in half and made 6 out of it. And when you see the front of it, you'll see that there's a back porch, but it's facing towards the street. And this is another train station. I think I have 4 or 5 different train stations. The park has a Bavarian van that my friend made me a sound system that was going to play Bavarian music and also 50s music for Donnie's Drive-In,
Nice.
because that's when I grew up in the 50s.
Mhm.
And I didn't tell you, but the parade is actually going to come from that other town into the town you're looking at now. So it's going to go through 2 towns
Mhm.
whenever I get ambitious.
Right.
This is just a picture of Mayaville Hotel. Mayaville is my granddaughter, Maya. And that island is named after her, Mayaville. The other island is named after her brother, Chase, which is Chasten. That's the Mayaville Lumber Company, and Lowe's Theater is playing the Humphrey Bogart with,
Yeah, African Queen.
African Queen, yeah.
I got a pretty good picture of that. a
That
little
white
later.
Thunderbird you see there is an S car. I put it there, but a lot of people don't know it, and I'm pretty prototypical, but there's 3 or 4 S cars
Yeah.
on my layout
Yeah,
that
you could.
should never be, but it was a long time ago I put it there, before I knew what the difference was. There's the liquor store. And it has aisleways in it that are full of beer and wine. And
Yeah.
there's people in the aisleways with their shopping carts loading up. And there's a guy at the cash register right by the front door, checking out somebody with their liquor. And across the street to the right of that road is Mayaville Bulk gravel, coal, and I don't know whether he's gonna see a picture of that or not, but it's part of the Mayaville lumber.
Mhm.
There's the cashier in the liquor store.
Are those pictures on the wall? Are they out of where did you get the pictures?
Where'd you get the pictures for those?
They're Walters. I've got,
Oh,
if you ever want any of that stuff, I've got extra copies of it in a loose leaf folder. You can make your own aisleways. There's grocery stores, there's liquor stores, there's hobby shops. I've got all those pictures that I could make any one of them,
mhm.
I was always gonna make G&G hobby, but I never did get around to it.
Yeah.
That's that white Thunderbird that's not supposed to be there.
It doesn't look bad.
And that
It doesn't
gray,
look all that bad, really.
No, it really doesn't.
I should have lit up the popcorn stand, but I didn't do it. It would be easy to do even right now, because I can pick it up and move it and just drill a hole for the wire. That's a little restaurant. And as I say, I like old cars. That's a 36 Packard or Chevy or a Packard, I can't remember now, convertible. It's a Oxford diecast. I like their cars. They're really, really detailed. I bought a good friend of mine who has a layout that puts my layout to shame when it comes to detail, but he's bought 40 or 50 Oxford die. I bought them for him at shows. He tells me whenever you see them for under $8, buy them.
Mhm.
So I spent 2 different times. I spent $160, one at the LaPorte show, and I bought some at the Wheaton Train Show last week. $120 some,
Mhm.
and he's my electronics friend that is always getting me out of trouble electronically.
There's very few of his buildings are not lit. And almost all of them have detail inside.
Yep. He's just saying almost every building has lights and.
Every
Details.
almost everything is lit up and detailed, with people. I've got probably close to 2,000 people that aren't even on the layout. They're downstairs and still in the blister packs.
Yeah.
So come over and bring your wallet. Yeah. This one here is a scene. Waverly Farm I lived in Chesterton, Indiana, and our 5 acres was called Waverly Farm. And you're actually supposed to find 6 beer bottles on these 2 houses. You can barely see them. There's one underneath the tree where that guy is under the car. There's one on the far side of the swimming pool on the railing. I actually made 2 of those windmills rotate
Mhm.
mechanically.
Mhm.
You can throw a switch. That one doesn't rotate. That was before I did those.
Mhm.
Yeah. In the front of that scene. Oh, this was,
I'll go back.
no, you can go back to the other one.
Okay.
That's the row houses that I
Oh, right,
spoke
yeah.
about, and this Volkswagen that's down here in front, the green one, that's an S vehicle. I bought 14 of those, and the guy termed them as HO.
Yeah.
But when I got them, I says, well, I know a guy lives right here in Miller that is S gauge. He might buy them,
Mhm.
You can see the size of the real Volkswagen, the red one pulling the wagon.
Yeah.
And there's a guy working on the from the Texaco gas station on that semi truck.
Mhm.
And the truck driver's standing there watching him with his dog. And in the background, the first building, they're pouring concrete driveway. That's what those concrete trucks are doing.
Mhm.
There's wire mesh in the drive and 2x4s outlining the driveway. The only thing I didn't do was emulate that they had already poured the first 4 foot of concrete,
Mhm.
but I want to do that one of these days, maybe. There's the guy and his dog watching the
Oh, yeah.
guy from the Texaco station. There's a guy on the platform underneath the red awning, right at the very end of the red awning. He's pounding on a crate with a hammer. I do a lot of animation. Guys drinking beer, ladies churning butter. Just a lot of different things that I liked animating. All my streetlights work. I one time, quite a few years back, bought 300 streetlights. But if you ever need streetlights, come see me, because they're not going to be on this railroad. And this is an old town. You can see all the old cars and that green sedan delivery. I just had a friend of mine. It's a solid cast, and I don't like them because you can't really put people in them. Every one of my engines all have engineers and conductors
Mhm.
in them. There's no engines running around the track that don't have a driver. And a car is the same way. If it's parked, it might be empty, but if it's driving, it's got people in it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is showing the backside, and there's the girl on the second level, on the right-hand level, she's stark naked. It's a whorehouse. This is the south yard where I do most of my switching. And that cyclone fence is about 9 feet long. It took me, I think, 3 weeks. And all the posts are removable, so I can repair it if I need to.
Mhm.
The only bad part about that yard, the tracks are on 2-inch centers, and you can't get your hand in to put a car back on the railroad. You gotta go down to a vacant spot.
Let me ask you something about your car cards. Who, did you make those special?
Did I make the car holders?
Car cards.
Yes, that's the ones you buy at Micromart.
Okay,
Yeah, I like them. They're narrower than the ones like they use at John Nye's, and
Mhm.
I put pictures on all my cars in him. They're not showing in here, but every railroad car that's on the layout, there's a picture of that car on the card.
Mhm.
So you don't have to look for the number, you only have to look for the color of the car, which in that one you're looking at, the color of the car is green. That's where you see that green on the car card.
Mhm.
Then the waybill is green. That's denoting that that's a westbound train.
Mhm.
If you turn that card over, they're yellow, that's an eastbound train.
Mhm.
And they're telling you where the facilities are in order as you're going east or west, what you're gonna come to first.
Mhm.
Tom, I thought that meant Northwestern, green and yellow.
Right. He thought that meant Northwestern.
Oh, Northwest.
Ron, that's because your blood is green and yellow.
That's probably true.
That blue tunnel to the right of the picture is a 4-track staging behind the mountain where you saw the bridge that I made 2 lanes.
Mhm.
It's up above this rock going to the coaling station.
Mhm.
I never use it because you can't get back there to put cars on the track. You have to be a little monkey. That's the Texaco gas station that the guy came from to fix that semi truck.
Yep.
There's a policeman. He's got a guy and he's arresting him. He's got him handcuffed. And there's a
What
lot
did
of,
the guy do?
What did he do?
I don't know. I think he stole the motor that's in the back of his pickup truck.
I want to know how you modeled the handcuffs.
That maroon car is my very first car I ever had when I was in high school,
Nice.
a 47 Ford convertible, but mine was green.
Uh-huh.
And in the station wagon, I put a smoke emulator in underneath the hood. And if it works, smoke comes out of the hood because
Nice.
those people just overheated.
Yeah.
There's a water bag on the front bumper of that car, bicycles, fishing gear on the back, and the canoe.
Yep.
So they're on vacation, but they're running into trouble.
Yeah.
So they're stopped at the gas station to get things fixed. And the Petticoat Junction girls are in that water tower, and a couple of them are naked.
All right.
The people on that pink thing were people that have a pin in their foot that I just stick in the ceiling tile. My layout's made with ceiling tile
Mhm.
and styrofoam.
Okay.
So there's no plywood underneath that. It's
Mhm.
all supported with that 2-inch styrofoam.
Mhm.
And that little building to the left is very, very detailed inside. It's a workshop for the railroad.
This
Mhm.
one,
Yeah.
Yeah. And the little blue truck is one of those ones that they tried to make run pretty good, but it doesn't. I probably got 6 or 8 of those
Yeah.
motorized vehicles that run on the track,
Oh, yeah.
but they don't work with a damn. They're gonna stay in that drawer forever.
Yeah.
This is the Times-Picayune building, which is the newspaper that my wife's son worked for in New Orleans.
Hmm.
So there's a guy on that high lift, he's changing a light bulb. And if you look down right in front of the orange truck, there's a guy on a ladder fixing a light.
Oh, yeah.
It burned out and I didn't want to change it. So I just put the guy on the ladder and he's fixing that burned out. All the rest of them work, but that
Right.
one's out.
Yeah.
And in that Packard convertible,
Uh-huh.
in the back seat, if you were at my house, you could see the guy in the back seat. He's got his hand up the girl's sweater. I had a guy that taught a 3D printing class at Mishawaka High School, and he downsized an O-scale person like that, 2 people,
Uh-huh.
and he made them in HO, but with his 3D printer. The
Nice.
one I sent him was made out of metal,
Oh.
and he had a class project, and they made me a dozen of them.
Nice.
And there's 2 of them on the layout, and I have to paint them all.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they won't come after us for sexual harassment.
This is
I was going to ask, did he downsize everything to HO or did he leave some things O scale?
well, I think he makes, I'm trying to think of the name of the guy's company. Oh, I'm sorry, names elude me anymore. But this is emulating a pond that's by my house. And of course, there's no high dive in it, but the high dive came from my growing years in Hobart, Indiana. They had a platform that had a high dive like that
Yeah.
right on Lake George. I never went off the high dive, but I did a lot of flips off that platform that was about that high off the water. And one of my friends came over one day and he said, "See the orange building behind the little trailer?" He said, "You better see what's going on in that building." I said, "Why?" He said, "I don't know, there's a whole bunch of racket going on." And I picked the building up and there's a couple in there getting it on, doggy style. They put it in there.
Uh-huh.
So those actually, the red, that's actually a green light, but it shows up yellow, is controlling when you throw this crossover, all those lights turn.
Mhm.
And that was the first crossover I ever made, and I used 2 tortoises instead of 1.
Mhm.
But now I've got a mock-up on how you can hook it up to make them both throw at the same time.
Yeah, that's how mine's all set.
Yeah. And then 2 little people down in the front here, lady and her little girl. Right there, yeah. when the crossbucks are hooked up and working right, her arm will be hooked up to the crossbuck and she's waving to the engineer when he comes by and the crossbuck works.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, I've got a lot of animation. I enjoy doing that kind of thing, but anymore with my hand froze, I can't hardly manipulate, and do the kind of stuff much anymore.
Yeah.
That's a lift up bridge that you have to come from the kitchen and you go through there, or you can duck under, whichever way you want. Most people, all my engine house, each of 6 stalls is lit up,
Mhm.
and they each have a lighted number over the door that you can power up track 6 or track 1,
Mhm.
and the rest of them aren't making noise or
Right.
running. And in this switch house was the first little light that I put in there. There's a lady reading a book and she can't see, so I put a light, one of those little lights.
Mhm.
And if you ever send me a phone number, I'll send you a picture of the little light that I made, that the LED that I use is half the size of a flea. I mean, really, when I hold it up with the magnet wire,
Mhm.
you can barely see the LED.
Hmm.
Real small. That's the cooling tower I told you.
Oh, yeah, that's,
My friend gave me that cooling tower, and
that looks good.
Greg and I were looking at his layout, and I said, a friend of mine gave me one of those, but it needed a lot of tender loving care. And this is this platform in front is for the REA building to the right,
Mhm.
and you can back a flat car into the platform and load or unload it. You know, it's one of the 27 facilities that I have that you can drop cars at
Wow.
going one way, and there's 25 going the other way,
Mhm.
I think. That's the REA building.
I think that's the end.
All right.
Okay,
Well, good job, guys.
well,
Yeah, very nice.
I wasn't really prepared, but
You've
I
been-
thank you, Ren, for staying with me.
Yeah, you've been preparing for that for years.
Tom, where's all the dust?
You're all welcome to come by if you're in the Chicagoland area, because I live 8 blocks south of the expressway, I-94. So you just have to get my email address and shoot me an email.
Tom,
Right.
how do you keep it clean?
Keep it clean.
How do you-
Yeah.
How do you keep the railroad clean?
Well,
Not your,
I actually
not
did
your
vacuum-
mind, not your mind. I'm talking about the,
I actually did vacuum the whole layout by hand.
Okay.
okay.
Took me a week because you gotta be so careful. I've got some real small vacuum cleaners that are battery powered,
Yeah.
and where I could, I used the vacuum cleaner car for the track. It picks up spikes, screws, anything that's metal. It's got a big magnet on the bottom, and it also picks up dust beyond belief.
Mhm.
It really,
Cool.
it's made in Germany, and they're $158 if you can find one. And mine came out of a Tyco junk box for $3. They didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Tom, have you ever done a clinic on what kind of motors and cams and stuff that you use to animate your scenes? Or a list of components or that?
For years I bought from a place called Electronic Gold Mine.
Mhm.
When I first started buying from them, they buy overruns and they sell them off really cheap, right?
Hmm.
Well, they've caught on to the game now, because I look at it once in a while and there's nothing cheap on there. They're going online and seeing what things sell for, and they put their prices comparable. Well, I wished the ones that I use for animation or people, I wish I'd have bought 100 of them. I think I only bought about 25. And
Are they DC or AC?
they're run on DC like 3 volts, but you still have to, whatever, I power everything with 12 volt, so I can resistor it down so that it is only drawing 3 volts, you know. And it's, well, I'm just turned 86 and things are starting to elude me. I lost my phone this morning.
My wife loses hers every day.
I put it down and the damn thing is black, right? Well, I put it down on something that's black. I can't even see it.
Right.
I lost it in my kitchen. And I went to the guy's house that I was to last night, thinking I left it at his house. And I did not. He called my phone. It rang, but it wasn't in my car. When I got home, my wife said, "Look on the table." And there was my phone. I said, "Where was it?" She says, "Underneath the chair where you sit to have breakfast." I was gonna say I looked high and low, but I only must have looked high because I didn't look low.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
How big was your training room? How big is your training room?
16 by 20.
Okay, that's pretty good size, yeah.
It used to be my pool room. I played pool since I was 13 years old.
Oh, wow.
I still play today, but I can't get anybody to bet any money.
You're just too good.
I like to play for something that gives you incentive to win, not to beat the person, to win. If you play to beat me, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
But if you play to win or not to lose, then you might beat me. Yeah, I finished 4th in the nation in 94, 92, 94, I finished 9th. And then I won the Indiana State Championship in 06. And then I kind of quit. But I still play. I was in there last night, but I barked and nobody bit. So I left. They when you challenge somebody, they call it barking at them. So I have a little short story I will tell you that is, I barked at a guy as a joke. And he's a banking guy, a black fella, and he plays bank pool a lot. And I said, "Hey kid," and I told the guy that I was talking to, I'm going down there and bark at the kid and see what he says. Well, I said, "Hey kid, I'll play you bank pool for $100, and the first one to make 8 balls wins. And I'm going to spot you 3 balls and the break. So if you make anything on the break, it counts for you. And then the 3 balls." Next thing I know, I was down 4-0. I got to make 8 while he makes 4. So I started playing a strategy game that I play a lot of, and I ended up beating him 8-5.
All right.
And he threw the $100 at me and said, "I'll never play you again." I said, "Why?" "I'll give you a chance to get it back $5 at a time or $100 at a time, whatever you want. I don't care about money. I just have to have an incentive to play you." Well, he won't hardly even talk to me to this day. I have fun with it. Like I said, I've been playing since I was 13 years old. And Wasn't even supposed to go in the pool hall then. My mom told me. But I went in and never looked back. I just kept going. All through high school,
All right.
all my later years. Yeah, I played in 22 national tournaments in Vegas and won. It's Atlantic City.
Oh, yeah.
Played one in Atlantic City.
All right. Well,
Played one in Padre Island, and I got second place. And it was not bad. It was $750 or something.
well, that explains why there's a couple of pool halls on.
Yeah.
on your
Yeah.
For
I'm
sure.
out right now every day. to Jumpstart the economy. Spend my money.
Sounds good. Well, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Ron. Are there any other updates today from anybody else on the call?
Well, I got an update on our archives building.
Excellent.
It's now ours.
All
It's
right.
construction is done. We passed inspections on Tuesday. We start clearing out our Gilbert's facility on the 18th. The movers are coming in on the 21st. And we'll be out of Gilbert's by the end of the month. And that's great because that's about $2,600 a month for rental.
Yeah.
And then we'll be starting on the 10 storage units, which will take about a year.
Yeah.
Right now, it's for only the members to be in there. We probably won't be open to the public until 2024.
All right.
Yeah,
Very
the one
good.
thing that's not done yet is our front sidewalk, which affects the doors to the front.
Yeah.
And that's being built by IRM when they put in the street.
Okay. Well,
But
that's
thanks,
great. Congrats.
yeah, thanks to everyone who's helped out on the project. It's been 7 years in the making and about 30 years in the wish list.
Nice.
Uh,
That's great. Can't wait to
Great.
see it. All right. Very good. Thanks, Tim. Anybody else
Okay.
have anything? All right. Well, next week we will have Lester, I think, has another presentation for us next week, if I remember right. And then we're looking at the end of the month. I think we're going to have Gene Green on. We're arranging for that. So thanks to Doug for helping out with that. And if you are interested in making a presentation, just let me or Ron know and we'll get you on the schedule. And Ron and Tom, thanks again. That was very enjoyable.
Ron,
tonight.
I really want to thank you for this. I love it. I really do. I wished I knew more about it so I could.
Pictures should have been better, but they're good enough, I guess.
No, that was real good. That was real nice.
Yeah.
It's
Nice
just,
job.
Did a
just fun
good-
to see
good
your
job
work.
Taking
Yeah.
pictures, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, great. Everybody have a great Thursday and we'll see you again next week.
Take care.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.